Brought to you by Hivemind.
I wanted to do Hivemind after dark, and there's no direction. So it's not ranch linear. It's not podcasting about business or Google traffic, or not even like land acquisitions or capital raising. Hivemind after dark is like whatever guys talk about, around the campfire when nothing else is important.
Anything goes.
So I'll tell you.
What do you do for fun? This is it.
I do podcasts with my friends in the middle of the night. The only thing that's important to me is understanding how there's protections in place for the people that I love and care about. So imagine I took off to Phoenix to go do real estate disruptors on February 14th and I died in a plane crash. But the kids were at my parents' house. What happens to the kids? You guys tell me. What happens to my kids if I died in a plane crash?
I got them.
Thank you, though. But really, what happens now? So the time is not to plan when the plane goes down. The time is to plan is today, okay? So from a practical perspective, give me a piece of paper and a pen. What is the most important thing that needs to happen? Capital, some kind of trust, some kind of legal structure. How much is that? It's $18,000 to set it up. Amazing. How much capital do I need to put into there so that until the day they die, when they're 94, how much does that cost versus inflation? So that's okay, step one, okay. $8.1 million I need for each one of my daughters. Bam. Now we have a number. So let's tackle that. And then you can build on top of whatever other the next dream is. Right? So somebody has to map that out. And if you never stop to map it out, man, that's pretty stupid. Damn, why did you map that out? So when we're going out there and saying when somebody says, I want to have a certain amount of doors, I want to have a certain amount of acreage, I want to have a certain amount of rental houses, man, if they didn't have that weird numerical goal, then they could go to wherever they're going faster. But since they created this number of these targets they have to hit, now their growth is stunted.
Stunted and limited by their belief.
Based on that number.
Yeah.
Why did you create that limiting rule? Why'd you do that? How is that pertinent?
Yeah.
So I believe in massive protection of the people that I know, love, and trust, even if it costs me everything I have, even if it costs me every hour that I have left on this earth. So security and safety for everybody that I know for the next foreseeable future, 100 years, 200 years. Now, there's a lot of other people that have problems on this planet that capital could easily solve. Let's deconstruct those. What's the end result? Buying office buildings that go out of effect, and it's 20 stories or 200 stories, and we make it into a housing shelter. And now all the people that don't have nowhere to go live in this shelter. It's a tax write-off. So, okay, yeah, I can also solve that. How much does that cost? That's like $800 million. Oh no. All right, sign me up. Now I have a target for that particular goal. Right? And if you're thinking in terms of that big of a capital need, then it makes you say, hey, locking up a $2 million ranch today that's worth 10 is not a good investment, because that $8 million is really not going to help in the grander scheme of things. We need to aim a little bit larger. So I think that's why it's important to just have big dreams, big goals.
I think you want to be a philanthropist.
Well, look, think about this. It's less of philanthropy and more of doing what's right. Because if he grows 100 acres of beans, and him and his family are rich and they sell beans and they're the richest bean holder in the planet, and then somebody else has to work 40 hours a week to just get a little tiny bowl, I'm going to take away your beans and most of whatever else you have in the basement, and I'm going to put a lot of it over here where there's 80,000 more people like that in that same situation. They can't afford the same cup of beans. Yeah. Well, I worked hard for it. I'm going to steal it and I'm going to give it to them. So there's a rebalancing of wealth that's potential, but also by force. And you might upset some people, but you can disrupt economies by force with bad intentions to place that capital where it's been concentrated illegally or immorally for the last 1,000 years, and then it's I'm going to just take it from here, I'm going to put it over there. Is everybody okay with that? You better not do that. And
I think anybody with a big enough mission can do whatever they want.
You have to do it. You have to do it. I'm saying it's a sin. You're going to go to hell if you don't participate. And then God's you can't make rules. You can't say who's going to go to hell. I'm sorry, but you know what I mean. If you don't help me, you're in more trouble than I'm in. You're probably gonna get killed for that someday. Right, bro, right. I'm gonna do it anyway because I'm gonna try to correct it before I gotta get out of here.
The interesting part of all this is that the drive and pursuance of excellence in oneself is always obtained by some sort of direct or indirect influence by pain. So if you don't have, and I say this broadly speaking, and I'm not going to say this just in an individual, from an individual standpoint, but broadly speaking, if you don't have any pain that you've been through, or some sort of suffering that's just putting a fire up your ass and just wanting to pursue something that is bigger than what you imagine to get, to help, or to not go back to that suffering that you came from, is one of the biggest driving factors of most, if not all, entrepreneurs.
Running from pain.
There's always something that is igniting the passion to excel and become better at something that you never even thought was imaginable.
So I like that sentiment, because a lot of what we do is painful, but you have to be self-driven enough to work through the pain, because this isn't comfortable. What we do isn't comfortable, and it isn't for everybody out there. And if you're listening to this and you're like, I don't have a pain, maybe pain hasn't hit you yet, for you to create whatever aspiration or thing you're meant to create. So I think pain comes in different times of your life, and as you get older and wiser, it comes in different phases.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that comes in different shapes and forms, because you can be somebody that's had pretty much everything granted to you, and you come to a stopping point from a time perspective where you're getting older, and you don't have much of resources to really grab onto.
Show for the time
Yeah,
that you have.
right. For the next, and you're like, well, shit. What am I gonna do now? The government can help you so much, but right now with the living standards, even if you get all the help that you can from the government, as far as retirement, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, all that fun stuff. I mean, that can only go so much, and even with those standards, I mean, you're still kind of living almost at a poverty level, and it sucks, because it's reality right now, and we're at an age that it sinks in and becomes reality, not only for us but for our people that surrounds us, our family, more so than anything else. And you try to put that into perspective, and you feel, oh shit, I mean, I'm going to push as much as I can to get to my goal. But ultimately, it's like, it's like I almost feel like it's you go into these reflective modes sometimes where you're like, is it worth it? Like I asked you earlier today, one of the biggest questions that I always get back, or not question, but it's a rebuttal, right?
Yeah.
I always ask this, and I get the same question back with people that don't really aspire to have the drive.
Yeah.
They're like, why the hell am I going to push this much if I ain't taking shit with me when I'm 6 feet under? Why do you want me to stress and do this and do that and go over here and do this and yada, yada, yada? At the end of the day, I ain't taking shit.
That was one of the biggest breakthroughs for myself, is that realization right there. I was thinking about, like, I want to have 1,000 acres, I want to have this, and then I'm going to have some houses and some depreciating apartment complexes. And the more that I did the math inside of my head, right, over time and distance, this could have been over the course of months or years, I'm like, dude, damn, you know what? Something I didn't account for. I got to die. And then they're going to put me in a stupid wooden box, and they're going to put me in the ground in like a 320 square foot box. Like, sounds good. So really, all the land that I think I'm buying, it does not belong to me.
No, it doesn't.
It also does not belong to my kids. It doesn't belong to their kids either, because the next guy's going to come and buy it and flip it and entitle it. And, so it's like, oh, dumb. Okay, so now that removes the asset from the equation. So now what's the next best thing to that? Having enough liquid assets to take care of the people around you and see them do very, very well and be happy and prosperous. So like, okay, that's a good goal. What if I could teach my family and friends to do that for their family and friends?
And John mentioned it today while we were speaking, is that you influence the masses to do it for their families and their friends. And the impact on that is huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
When I posted those YouTube videos, because I was like, you know what, now I understand what it takes to make large sums of money. And now that I have this information, you're like, man, this is pretty top secret information. And I was like, wow, what if I put this stuff on YouTube and then some guy sees it that's struggling in his living room, like just very stressed out, probably gonna jump off a bridge. And he finds the video and he's like, oh, damn. And now I know how to make like $10,000 to $50,000 a month based off of watching this YouTube video. If I could help that guy and never give him $1, right? But I give him the information. And now from now on, his life, his sister's life, the kids are having an amazing life because he watched this video. But if I kept it a secret, like, ooh, damn, oh, damn, wow, you ruined that guy's life because you never made the video for him to watch. And that's what really like blows my mind away like 1,000 times. Like, oh, dang, the guy who saw the video, he's never called me to thank me ever, but now his life has got exponentially better for him having come across the content. And that was my only hope. Let's say it only happened for one guy. Going to heaven, love it. Thank you so much. This is the best thing that's ever happened to me. But what if it happens for thousands of people or tens of thousands? Like, oh, damn. Wow. What an event. So now when we have these conversations and we put this content out to the environment, to the local like economy, like, what a service. Even if it wasn't us putting it out, like, what a service.
So that in of itself, I didn't read upon this, but I think it was like Discovery Channel or something. But they call it perpetual ignorance.
Perpetual ignorance?
Yeah. The idea where in a subjective state, you feel that the less fortunate could capitalize on your methodology. But at the same time, I guess subjectively speaking, the person that has a higher caliber than you is thinking the same thing about you. And on and on and on. It's a stair-stepping situation that is infinite. So you are part of the trend. And it's just one of those things where it's like, it's a matter of knowledge. And how to capture that is going to be the question. And it's an ongoing thing over and over and over again. That's why they call it perpetual ignorance. And I think it's like, it's a very, the concept is so easy to absorb, but ultimately it's like, yeah, that's right. At some point, you're going to feel like you know enough that you're going to really inspire and make people just come alive and make them just really help them across the board and make them, just jump out of any situation that, any bad situation that they're coming out of. And then at the end of the day, you're like, well, shit, some other person that is a higher caliber than me is thinking the same about me, and so on and so forth with them. And it's like this domino effect that it's like, it's ongoing all the time. But it's a beautiful thing because ultimately it's like the passing down of knowledge that will help the next person, inspire the next person. And shit, what you guys done today, how many people were out there? 80 plus, almost 100 people?
I would say 100 and some change.
The inspiration from what you guys said from there, even though those guys are already in the field, they're already doing some of what you guys are trying to do, and already, like, the inspiration was just, like, ignited. Everybody like, oh, shit, this is a whole different level, dude. It's a whole different level.
Creating the future in real time.
Yeah.
I think we heard a lot of feelings in that room. So what we talked about on camera last night, what I alluded to, and you guys were like, no, don't do it like that, Tone. Don't do them like that. I kind of brought it up today. I was like, let's say you're investing in commercial or self-storage or houses or apartments. Like, That's a terrible investment compared to land. Terrible investment. And some people were like,
Well,
that $10,000 course I bought in commercial is no good. Like, I mean, it's good, but it's not a very good
and
contestant.
again, it's the absence of information, right? It's the absence of information. If you don't know, you don't know. And it's funny you mentioned that.
I didn't say junk collectors, but I wanted to.
One of the guys that was out there, I think his name was, I don't even remember. I need to go look at my phone. But he was in residential and then really more in the commercial space, and he's more of a developer. And he's like, yeah, man, I mean, I kind of want to switch over and really start digging into land. I'm like, why is that? He's like, well, I've been working a couple of continuous deals with commercial. They're doing great, phenomenal. I have some multifamily assets that are under my portfolio. They do well, but the return on investment is not the same as land. It is by far a lot less across the board. I mean, 8 cap, 10 caps is kind of traditionally a healthy deal with commercial or residential, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But we're talking about if you do it, scale it right, you can do 100, 200% better than where you are in a land deal.
Yep.
In as little as 90 days, depending on kind of what the play is and what the structure is going to look like. And I'm like, you're absolutely correct. And he's like, I'm actually the only one within my group that is here trying to part ways with residential commercial because of it.
Wow.
That's pretty cool, man. How long you been doing that for? He's like, well, several years. I mean, almost 7 years. And what are you gonna do with your portfolio? He's like, I'm gonna sell the entire motherfucker and get everything. Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna sell everything and just get right into land.
So, and I'm really glad you mentioned that. I think a lot of people, they get blindsided because they think they're doing the best thing. I think one thing that I think me and Anthony have done really well is just be open-minded. We're open-minded to new opportunities, and we're not afraid to ask questions.
You got one right here, bro?
It's full.
We're not afraid to ask questions.
That's the last one. If you're gonna use it, great. If not, I better hand it back.
On.
You good?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
This one's almost to the top.
So.
We're not afraid to ask questions to learn more about something. I think a lot of people they're so stuck in their mind like I can buy a multifamily, increase the rents, and decrease expenses, and exit in 5 years and make $500,000.
$500,000 in 5 years. That's stupid. So like, oh man, that's real. That sucks. I think people that do what we're doing and people that know what we know and the amount of give back we're trying to have, like, you don't even have to partner with us at all. Like, just try this out. It makes a lot of sense. And it's funny because, like, whatever's mainstream is always trash. Ooh. So if you look like the news, Fox, CNN, whatever it is, it's all trash. And then if you look at public popular opinion, it's land sucks. Wait a minute. Why is this the most undervalued and underestimated asset class if it produces more than every commercial real estate project that ever lived? Why is that mainstream? Why is it mainstream to talk shit about land when it's also the most powerful asset class? Who made that rule? Who made that social norm?
I'll tell you
How
why.
keep people out of it?
Stay out of land. It doesn't cash flow.
Land, well, here's the thing. Land is an asset class that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac will not back.
Because they don't want
If they do, it's under extreme scrutiny.
That's why we become stronger than them immediately. Just to start.
Land is one of the only, if that, it is the only asset class that you need massive capital to enter. If it's already developed, then you can get a lender involved. But otherwise, before that, these are big game capital guys. You gotta get some big pockets to get in there to make it happen.
So I posted in Pace's group, hey, we had $1 million a month. Hit me up if you want to learn. You do need capital to play. That's what the post said. And
This game is very capital intensive.
you need capital to play. And if you do have capital to play, then you're going to make a lot of money. We're looking at turning 3 million right now into 10. And then those 10 probably into 20. And they're like, hey, what if y'all are just capping? What if that's not true? Like, well, maybe we're only going to make 5. But it's a lot. It's a lot. And then people make fun of land. You know what I mean? Like, whoa, how did that become a thing? Yeah. It's because of that, because it's a powerful, powerful, powerful lever. And not a lot of people pull it. I knew we were powerful as developers. But you sent me something on X. And it said, like, people view developers as gods. Even small-time developers. And I'm like, it took me a little while for that shit to sink in. Like, it hit me hard, and I was like, I kept thinking about it. Like, even a low-level developer like us dwarfs 99.9% of the industry. And then there's people that are like 0.01 of that. So even though we're just starting, like, it's tremendous. Like, yeah, for real. I kind of do see you like gods. We visited 3 of our mentors yesterday. We had lunch and breakfast and dinner with them. And they all said, y'all, you have far surpassed my teaching. How many of them?
All of them.
Every single one. Every single one.
It wasn't top-sided. It was we were telling them what's going on.
No, you guys are on a different level. You've gone beyond where I could take you. They all said the same thing. Those were our mentors that we look up to.
And and this is for everybody listening. I think it's amazing. It's an amazing testament to the mentors themselves, because a real mentor pushes you past them.
Yeah.
As quick as possible.
And sure shit is fire. They all pushed us way past them.
They all push us.
And they're kind of surprised, like, oh, damn, you sure did.
So I think, and it doesn't happen very often.
Very rarely does the student surpass the master.
Very rarely. And it's not that we're shoving it in their face or anything. I respect them more because I knew it took multiple people's time and energy to get here. You know, it really did. And I didn't learn it from one person. I think everybody's trying to learn everything from one person, but I think you gotta seek many counselors.
Seek war with many counselors is one of my favorite sayings ever. So if you're gonna go to war with Austin or San Antonio, do you want to go by yourself? Like, it's up you all night up by yourself drinking tequila shots. Like, I'm gonna hit them from the north side. I'm gonna come back around from the back by the river walk. Or do you want like 216 guys in that room? Like, okay, you guys are taking the south. I'm going to worry about everything from there north. You're on fuel. You're on ships, right? You're on wheels. So you make war with many counselors. And then I think business is war. So if you isolate yourself, if you're playing by yourself, like, wow, that's a powerful strategy. It's a powerful formula for losing.
Let me just step over this dead body.
Yeah, that's a good way to lose everything you had. And then we're like, who's on our team? Everybody in Corpus, the guy that's east of Bastrop, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to be isolated in this time of war.
So I think it's funny. I'm hearing who I'm talking about here, but this person hears this conversation. I don't know if we're talking about them, but we had somebody reach out to us and they said they wanted to learn, and we told them, hey, there's a price to pay for this, and he wanted a free ticket in. And I'm like, there's a price to pay for this because
we paid for
I had to pay a price.
We paid for it with our blood.
I paid for it with blood and sweat and tears, and there's a price to pay for this information at the highest level, because that's where I'm at. So if you're not willing to pay the price, you're not worthy of the information.
Yeah, this is something that it's kind of cool too, because to have this level of superpower, it's like with great power comes great responsibility.
I can't give it to everybody.
If somebody wants the information and they cannot afford it because they don't have the money or they don't have whatever, we give it to them for free. Like, here you go. We don't ask. You never have to pay us back. There's no invoice. We just give it to them for free. But if somebody can afford it and they refuse to pay for it, like, I cannot help you. There's a difference. I can't help you.
There's a difference, because the people that can't afford it, they're willing to put in the sweat, blood, and tears just like we did.
I'll do anything for it. I'll work for 6 months for free. Okay, then you get it for free.
You get it for free because that's the way I came up, and I respect that.
But if somebody, they have the paper and there's like, I'm not paying for that. Like, fantastic, you lose. You lost. It was real bad when you lost. Here's the replay.
That's so crazy. But it's true. I respect people that came up the same way I did. This is why I have much respect for you, Jesse, because you paid with your blood, sweat, and tears, literally. I have a lot of respect for you for that way because I didn't realize the capability of your mission to succeed until we had the conversation earlier today.
Yeah.
And I can be open with you because I know you came up through walking class.
Sure.
Just like I did, And I respect that. And even to the point where even with our mentors, they came up walking on glass. So I'm willing to bring our mentors along with us to our level, right, Anthony? Even though we've surpassed our mentors, they reached down and pulled us up, and now we can reach back and pull them up.
Yeah.
So this is a infinity symbol.
Yeah.
Right? Positive, negative, yin and yang. The more that we push out into the local environment, the more that also has to come back into our favor and say, dang, God, thank you for these blessings. However, we cannot house all of them at this time.
Yep.
Can you please share them with my mom and my sister and my friends and my cousins and their neighbors and like 80 other people that I don't know? But you can't get there until you have that much to deliver, right? So when you overwork hours, when you put in too many hours, you have abundance, you have excess. So now what are you going to spend it on? Like, I'm a Rolex and 2 Ferraris and 8 Lambos and a 1 million square foot house. That sucks. You could have fed 42 small villages with that and made solar power, right, in like 0.01% of Africa. No, I'm going to try that next time. So by you overproducing and then distributing it where you see fit, you can provide impact, right? Or you can provide, self-loathing. Buy me a Ferrari because my neighbors can think I'm rich. And it doesn't lead to anything. But you can also repurpose that capital and that energy into something that's super, super important. I think that's what we're focused on. And if you make that your focus, then cool things happen.
The whole thing about mentorship and not making sure really, but just applying yourself surrounding yourself with the right people and going and training and what I mean by training, not like anything physical, but training your mind and understanding the practices and to know how this works. And it always goes back to this saying that I would much rather be a warrior working in a garden than a gardener going to battle.
That's a good saying.
Always be prepared.
I feel the same thing, man. I feel like from Jordan Peterson, but one of my friends was talking to him like one night, Hedge. He was talking about how I could be the most violent person in the room, but I'm also the kindest person in the room. I was like, have you ever heard of Jordan Peterson? I'm like, nope. He was like, look him up on YouTube, and that's the first time I had ever heard of him. But he was talking about like, you're not to be non-violent. It makes you harmless. Yeah. So same thing, same concept. Warrior to garden. You don't have to be violent. You gotta just have it with you, but not need it. And it's pretty cool to see that we're operating in that frame, and it's a powerful thing. Even before I knew that.
I've always been like that. I'm a big guy, so I know I have a lot more weight and arm length to beat people in a fight, but I never wanted to fight. I never wanted to go there, but if people pushed me to a certain point, I was more of like a one hitter. I'd hit him once, and I'm like, do you want to continue? I don't want to go past this, but I will if you force me to. Like, was that enough? And my last fight, I was in high school with him. That's exactly how I went. I hit him once, and I'm like, "Are you good?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm good." That's it. Like, I don't need to continue on this violence to show that I'm bigger or stronger than you. I don't want to do this. I'm only defending myself because you put me and forced me down this position to.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I fought. I don't remember.
I want peace.
I think it was in middle school. And I think I kicked him in the nuts.
Yeah, he's like, I think I did. I was too stoned to remember.
Yeah, I think I kicked him in the nuts and he just fell on the floor and he just gasped for air. That was it.
Mine, I need him in the head. It's funny. It's funny because I don't want to fight.
I ain't killing with no pussy.
I'm a lover.
2 by 4. I ain't killing with no pussy.
Like, nobody's a killer until you met the right one.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not that person that can push you over the edge. Just like I'm my enemies in business.
I hope you all enjoyed this. This is kind
Yeah,
of.
that was cool, man. I like it.
This is, me and Anthony do this every time we used to one of these.
We call it a stream of consciousness.
Stream of consciousness.
It's just our free flowing thoughts.
And there's like non-business, non-whatever. Just like we're just two guys talking around a campfire type of shit. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's not.
Called Estoy el Vato Loco.
Pero es la primera vez con ustedes con el tercero vato.
Bro, you do not sound Puerto Rican.
Oh man. Usually it's just me and him, so when we started talking, hey, let me record this.
Just record this.
Record this. I appreciate you coming, Jesse, and for everybody here, go check out his other interviews, man. We did some cool.
I feel like there's not a lot of frontline murderers that have come on with Hivemind. They're like affiliated, associated, emancipated. But not too many people come in like Jesse, where like he kind of already gets it, like he's frontline murderer. Like, damn, that's good. And so now he's working on a really big deal for us, with us. And he doesn't need any instruction. He has never called me to get instruction. He's like, I think I'm about to close it. Like, damn. It's cool, man, to be connected to people like you, bro. That's super cool for you to come in and like see it. Like, hey, I could do this too. Like, all right, man, like, you want to try it with us? Like, yes. Let's go in the same truck. Because not people don't think like that, man. It's weird. It's like, oh, damn, you're gonna lose too. So when somebody actually does see it, we're like, oh, that's cool. That's fortunate. So thank you, man. It's been a pleasure to get to know you, dude. First time I talked to you, I was at my sister's house, and I didn't know what to think of you because I didn't know what you were up to or nothing. We talked on the phone. Like, that's a cool ass dude. And then sometimes you have those initial conversations, and then you never hang out again or talk again. And then I remember thinking, like, I hope I get to sit at lunch with this guy to at least, like, interface a little bit. And then now, like, you're around permanently. And I'm like, wow, this is cool. That was a good contact. That was a good connection. That was a really good connection. And it turned out to work out better than I had originally thought. So, yeah, thanks, man.
Thank you, brother. Good peeps.
Yeah, the people that you go to war with, the people that you do business with, like, man, you should probably vibe with them. They should probably have good emotions around those people because you're gonna spend a lot of time with them. So it's a huge investment of time and energy. Mm-hmm. So it's cool, man, to meet those certain people. Like even Lucia, man, I didn't think he was gonna come, and I didn't expect him to come, but it meant a lot that like it was important enough for him to come over and talk.
Yeah, I think he said. I mean, he just wanted to support and just kind of be part of the whole thing.
He's like, hey, Lucia said he can't come. I'm like, fuck him.
He's fucking coming.
I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna make him go.
I'm gonna bring a trail fucking corn so he can peck his way over here.
Where's Rooster? He's fucking probably sitting up on a perch somewhere crowing.
Crowing and shit.
Sure enough, like, get down from there, you idiot. The show is starting at 6, you idiot. Get down from there. Why are you on that same
Slap
perch?
your ass down here.
You're always on that perch. I was all mad at Rooster. Why you get mad at me for doing Rooster things?
What's cool, I think it's really cool because I was hoping you'd come here earlier because I wanted to shoot some stuff with him. We still got an ability to shoot some stuff with him, so
Yeah.
it was a good time.
I should call it as KFC.
See, this is one of I would love if I lived here because I would have more of these conversations, but I would never go home. It'd be bad.
Your wife's like, hey, can you come home this month, but not next? And the 2 after, like, okay, maybe it's not good.
Yeah.
Me and Danny are workaholics, man. Sometimes, like, I love my daughters to death. I'm always with them. I mean, we spend a lot of time together homeschooling them. Like, we spend a lot of time together. But no matter how much time I spend with them, I feel like I still owe them more.
Yeah.
So when I'm working around them or by them, like, I'm really counting those minutes. Like, I'm taxing myself. Well, they were there, they were up. That's been 12 minutes, you know. So it constantly reminds me to not sell those minutes. I got to call you back so I can hang out with him for that next 30, 45, breakfast, whatever.
My daughter hit me up before I came here. She's like, I know I have to go to school tomorrow, but when you go on a work trip and I don't have to go to school, I'm going with you.
Yeah. Dude, my daughter, like, Daddy, can I go to work with you tomorrow? Yes. I never asked them why. I never say, like, oh, but your homework. There's not a second question. If they ask me if they can go to work with me, the answer is automatically yes. And then tomorrow, we'll figure out why. Why'd you go to work with Daddy? Like, I don't know. I just haven't seen you in a long time. Like, the answer is always yes. And then you deconstruct from there. And it's super cool. It's a good feeling. Like, if that was the only thing in my life that was, like, better than somebody else's, then I already won. I beat everybody else. Because that one thing. Like, can I go to work? You're like, huh? But if you worked at AT&T or Google, you can't take them. Can I hang out with you today? Why? Get your shoes on. And it's badass, dude. Every time it's the same amount of badass. I think that's why we do what we do. And then also it's not enough for me to have it for myself. I want other people to have it. Yeah. I want to see my friends that I went to high school with, or my cousins, or my coworkers. I want them to experience that too. And then they have that same feeling with their kids. Like, man, I was the catalyst. I made it possible for them.
We forgot to record with Eric before he left.
Record what?
His interaction. So one of the things I love when I'm hanging out with Anthony, I know he does it without me, but he's always like making everybody's day everywhere he goes. And it's so funny. We're gonna talk about Eric's story. So Eric and Anthony, Eric is our video guy, and they went to go to the grocery store or something, and there was a dude outside, and I don't even want to butcher the story because I wish Eric was here to tell it. You know, we have to remind Eric to do it when we see him in a month. But I guess Anthony bought the guy a beer. And he's like, dude, why'd you give me a beer? He's like, no, don't worry about it. Here's $50 too. What the fuck?
Well, I brought a stack of 50s with us, so we can have cash. Because when we go to dinner with the Hive people, we buy dinner, we buy drinks, whatever. Yeah. So I was like, you usually spend like a couple of thousand, 1,000 to 2,000 or so more.
Yeah, I always come cash heavy for stuff like this because
it worked. It helps. So this time I brought only all 50s in my wallet. So every time anybody has helped us, we're just giving them all 50s. Like the DoorDash guy last night, I was like, was there a tip on there? He's like, no, there was no tip. I was like, how much do y'all get? He's like, that's whatever. I was like, well, like pretty much what, if you go to 10 houses, how much do they actually tip everybody? He's like, I don't know. It depends on how much based on how much we spent, how much would somebody tip you? I don't know. Is 50 cool? If that's what you want to give, yeah, that'd be good. We're just lighting everybody up with 50s. Even the homeless guy tonight.
Yeah, we went to get pizza, and there was a homeless guy. He's like, "Can you guys give me pizza? I'm hungry." Anthony hands him $1.50, and then there was another guy next to him. He's like, "Can you guys give me a pizza?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I gave him a $20." So it's really cool to. We caught like making waves. It's really cool making waves in people's lives, and I don't know how long that wave will last, but it's a cool little. It's a cool little wave. So it's just funny to see Anthony do it because he's like a wild man that like he can't be controlled, and he'll just do it for fun.
Yeah, he can be controlled. Just give him a little.
Some greenery.
No, I think it's really cool to see. It's really cool to see everybody at work because then what's amazing is that our team does it too, and I think that's the best part about it. Is now our team is doing it not on purpose. It's just like, did you give that guy a tip? Yeah, I gave him $50. All right, here's $50 for thanks, bro. You know, thanks for spreading the
Christmas cheer.
Thanks for spreading the cheer. Exactly.
We did a land deal and we made $85,000, and so now we're gonna pay them back a note for $100,000 for their interest in our company.
This is so crazy. It's so crazy to me.
Give them their money back plus interest.
I love it because I think the people that invested in us, whether it was intelligence or minimal capital, they invested in us when we needed it most. I think of like seed capital. So you think of like Bezos started Amazon with his parents' money of $250,000, whatever, or those that, I don't know who said it yesterday or whatever. So I watched a video. It was a video on TikTok, and he said he asked his brother for money, and his brother was like, all you got is, I can give you $50. So he's like, shit, I'll take it. I'm like, I'm starting this business, and his brother gave him $50, and he's like, I ain't got nothing else, but this is all I got. So his brother gave him $50, and he was talking about how he gave his brother like $180,000. He just gives him money every year for investing $50 into his future when he needed it most.
Damn.
So I think Anthony believes that too. Like, people that gave us opportunity early, they deserve an ROI for their impact they made into our future, and they deserve to be overpaid. Even though the transaction's done and over and it's been 5 years, now we have the ability to repay them an ROI that they might not think they deserve, but they've earned. Yeah.
So some of our sellers have become our friends. So it's like they helped us at a point in our business when we really needed help, and sometimes a big assignment fee is what you need, to keep your family alive or keep your feet on the ground.
Absolutely.
And so now, like, based on the current trajectory, like, wow, we're gonna have more scratch than we're ever gonna need for at least 2 or 3 lifetimes.
We owe it to them for investing in us early.
So now we consider them our early investors. Yeah. Like, damn, they helped us make $100. Like, let's give them back 120. And then now it's like that 120 is nothing. Yeah, the original investment 3 years ago was everything.
Everything.
And then
5,000, 10,000.
Now the payback times is 2 is a nice gesture. So it's cool, man, to think about it like that. Like, you guys helped us so much so that we're gonna make this effective and amazing for you for the rest of your life. So our shareholders are the sellers and the buyers. And the people that are here contributing, like, man, y'all are gonna get some of this too.
Hey, if you have any deals you'd like to submit to the Hivemind and our team, go to hivebc.io. It's actually the Hive Buyers Club. Submit your deals and we can hopefully dispel your deal for you. Have a great day.